Game of Thrones talk?
Yes,
the Robert
definitely.
A. E. Lee pop tap. Yeah. Can
wanna
I
get
start?
Kyle's piping hot take.
God damn it, I'm done. I'm done. This has been my favorite show for like, I think I started 2 seasons. 2 seasons were out, which is a wonderful way to start any show because you really get that.
Yeah.
You get to that first cliffhanger of the end, and I think when Ned died or whatever. I don't recall exactly how it goes sequentially, but then you're like, shit, season 2, here we go. Let's see what happens next. And I got that full experience. Then I've been hooked for like the last 5 years, and I've watched a lot of YouTube videos, and I've seen people talk about what has gone wrong and whether it's the writing not being based on the books, or whether it's just character decisions about what characters do that don't necessarily make sense. I don't know. It's probably a combination of all of the above. But I'm done. I don't like the show anymore, frankly. I really don't. And it's not some sexist white male bullshit. Like I'm okay with Arya killing the Night King.
I'm not. It doesn't make sense with the story at all, or with
I'm
the
okay.
prophecy or any of that.
It doesn't make sense with the prophecy. Like that bugs me a little bit. Like maybe what if we found out she had a penis this whole time? Like that, and that
would win me back.
That'd win me right back.
You know who'd be surprised? Gendry.
Oh, not a surprise to me, my lord. But like,
I like sucking her little cock.
Just literally a little cock.
I thought it was a big clit.
But when it came over me, I was confused.
Theon's over there. I wish I had a little cock.
She's a squirter, and then he's just got like dried cum.
So, like, let's just talk about the most recent episode and some of the nonsense.
Yeah, what was it that? I'm sure you went into it the way I did, where I was like, let's try and be more positive.
Absolutely. I want to love it. I want to. I was okay with it.
I want to like it. It's a good way to say it.
The opening scenes were good enough for me. I liked them in Winterfell, rejoicing, celebrating the victory. That was good stuff. And it brought me back to like 2 episodes ago where...
Oh, that wasn't the opening scenes, but yeah, I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it brought me back to like 2 episodes ago when they're like preparing for the battle, and it's kind of the polar opposite, right? Everybody's sitting around talking and drinking, but they're very sober. Like not literally sober as far as alcohol, but it's a sober mood, a sober tone. It's very dry. And this is like the polar opposite of that. It's like we won and we lived, and this guy's a hero and this person's a hero, and it's great. And you got to see little things like I don't care about the love story between Jaime and Brienne. She just saw that coming all the way, and I guess I kind of did too. I just didn't say anything.
Dude, Brienne's been giving him fuck me eyes for 6 years now.
Yeah, for sure. And I like the Hound over there, sort of toasting Arya, the hero of Winterfell, and that was all good. But when we got to Daenerys flying her dragon high above the sea and not seeing the fleet of ships that we'd already talked about, and then Euron sniping the dragon out with 3 consecutive... I know he didn't personally fire all 3 shots, I'm aware of that. But Euron and his crew firing 3 consecutive bolts that hit the dragon, kill shots. Like there wasn't one in the foot or one in the tail or one through the wing. Like it was like chest, head, or neck or something like that.
Neck.
And I'm just like immediately I'm like bullshit for so many reasons, and not bullshit based on my reality, not bullshit based on movie realities in general. Bullshit based on the reality that you made for us, Game of Thrones. Bullshit based on your own fucking rules about how dragons work, about how those scorpions, which is what the ballistas are called, work, and based on like what we've seen like the previous like baddest motherfucker in the kingdom do, which is the Night King throwing javelins. He only hit 1 out of 4. Like I think he threw maybe 4 javelins in his whole like thing. He threw like 1 at the Battle of Winterfell, and maybe he threw like 3 total after in the first scene when they're out above the wall. He's like 1 for 3, 1 for 4, something like that. He's a 300 hitter, but Euron's he's the fucking Ted Williams of shooting fucking ballistas into the air. A baseball player with a high fucking batting average from back in the day.
Didn't he blow his brains out?
I don't fucking know. I'm not a baseball historian. I just know Ted Williams was a good fucking hitter. All I'm saying is I called bullshit big time. And look, I don't care that you killed her dragon. That's cool to kill her dragons and power her down and drive her closer and closer to the edge so she'll do irrational things. Don't do it like that, though. That's fucking stupid. Dragon scales are tough as steel. Those ballistas cannot pierce them. That's bullshit. It's just bullshit. Like when you go back to, and look, I know the whole thing about how dragon scales get harder the older they are, and these dragons are only 6 or 7 years old. And I know how in the old stories with like Balerion the Dread or whatever the fuck he was called, they had to shoot him right in the eye to kill those old dragons with stuff, and still they keep fighting. I don't care about that. What I'm saying is all 3 of these went right through the fucking dragon, like the dragon was made of putty, and I called bullshit. And then I call bullshit on what she does next, which is fly straight toward them in terror and like anger, and then turn away and leave instead of flanking them, coming down from a high angle of approach, going around those rocks and coming from behind them. Are those things really on a 360-degree swivel? I don't think so.
I don't know. But once
look,
again, people who've played Total War, they know how to use those units.
And are those ballistas, and if those ballistas exist in this world, and I'm aware that Qyburn apparently just made those things, but if they exist now, shouldn't they be on every fucking ship in the realm, since they're literally more powerful than pirate cannons? Like they're like black. They eviscerated those big heavy ships of Daenerys. They just blew holes straight through them. You could never win a naval warfare engagement against those if you don't have those. That's like when like modern navies added like the big guns that can shoot over the horizon, and like one team doesn't have them, and they're like, "Ooh, we are fucked-a-roo." like when that's a technological advance that you don't just skippity dippity over. So then I call bullshit on Missandei being plucked out of the ocean. Oh yeah, we remember that cute chick with the afro, right? Pluck her out. Who made that decision amongst these barbaric pirate men who are supposed to have their fucking tongues cut out, by the way? Who made that decision to pluck her out of the water? Now, I'm skipping around a lot here.
That's a good point. I didn't consider that, though. Like, why would they pick some random ass bitch? They don't know that she's buddy.
If they did pluck her out, they'd have literally raped her to death. If you showed me that scene, I'd have felt like it was a bit more like Game of Thrones.
You know, I'm glad they didn't have a raping her to death scene.
Look, I'm glad they didn't have a raping her to death scene, but in lieu of what we had, I would have preferred it. And I'm skipping around here because I'm trying to erase this episode from my memory. But then we end up at King's Landing. Bootleg backwaters King's Landing, which I'm pretty sure is filmed somewhere in Tennessee now. All right. What I remember of King's Landing was a gigantic, majestic city with a lush fucking forest outside. Remember when Tyrion was meeting with Oberyn Martell? He was trying to meet with Oberyn, but the Prince of Dorne arrived before dawn, and he is in the city somewhere enjoying the pleasures. He's in a lush fucking forest with these huge hardwood trees that are gargantuan. And I'm in the books, I remember reading about how there's that big forest out there, and how there's a lot of stories about like the bandits in the forest and stuff, and the knights Varys and Selmy having to go out there and fight those knights. And there's supposed to be a big fucking forest. Now it's like scrub brush, and you get to see one wall at a real sharp angle, so you can't even tell how bad the CGI is on this fucking wall. Like, where did your budget go, Game of Thrones? Why did you cheap out on this major set piece, which is the wall of the city?
They blew their whole budget on the battle that you can't even see.
I want to jump in because
one more thing.
Okay.
Pet your goddamn dog, Jon Snow.
I'm glad you said that.
You're
walking into my thing. So
it lost an ear.
Here's my take on this. People are fussing about the writing a ton. They don't like, the build up, which I'm kind of with them. They don't like a lot of things about the plot armor. And in 2004, Allen Iverson led the U.S. Olympic basketball team to a bronze medal, and people shit all over him for that. They were like, the fuck is wrong with this guy? We're America. We always win this. And they said Allen Iverson wasn't good enough. Kind of. But I didn't blame Allen Iverson for that bronze medal. I blame Kobe. I blame Shaq. I blame Jordan. I blame the people who didn't fucking show up and play. So when you're fussing at D&D for hold on here. When you're fussing at D&D for the writing, fuss at Gur Martin for the lack of writing. He's the fucker who's been sitting on his ass going to trade shows, just, I don't know, dripping in pussy or whatever the fuck he's doing, not writing the show. Remember that cute little conversation we used to have about whether the book would come out in time to get in front of the fifth season?
That cute little conversation.
How adorable we were back then, thinking that he was going to write another book. He is not going to write even one more book.
I think you'll get one more
There's
out.
no way that guy's even drowning in pussy. Can you imagine his
right.
skin tags?
Here's
I
what's gonna
have
happen.
more. It has become fashionable to hate on this show. I've watched hours worth of YouTube hating the show. Petting the dog is one of my prime examples of irrational hate on the show. Really? You're fussing
Yes.
because the dog wasn't pet? We all know why he
Yes.
didn't pet the dog, because the CGI is expensive, right?
Yeah.
It's just so much more expensive.
How many subscriptions do I have to steal before you can afford to pet the dog?
Oh my God,
No, I
Angry
pet-
Joe
I pet-
went ballistic on Pet the Dog. It's become a running theme in all these YouTube videos I watch complaining about the pet the dog, pet the dog, pet the dog. You know what? This isn't the dog petting channel. It's okay if he just salutes the dog and they save $250,000 on CGI.
Not for me.
Okay. The dragons, right? People are complaining that the dragon died. The dragon died too easily. You did that. People would also complain if the dragon didn't die. If the ballista had been shot and it bounced off his scale, then they would have said this plot armor is too much of a problem. What are we going to do about these dragons?
No,
And by the
because
way, Qyburn beefed up the ballistas between seasons, according to the YouTuber I watched. That I didn't stain them side by side, but the ballista wasn't that effective when they attacked Jaime, I think. It bounced off or something. So they beefed up the ballistas and now they work. I will admit, these things are better than trebuchets. Reddit needs to get their
They're
shit
better than
together
cannons.
at this point. You know, like they're taking out dragons and ships, and they're not just putting holes in ships. They're blasting their sides like U.S.
It took him
artillery.
like 3 minutes to destroy that entire fleet. Like
It
it
was
was like
absurd.
3 minutes and 9 of those darts.
I
and
get
they're
it.
done.
They're OP. But the thing is, I complained about plot armor around Jon Snow for a year now. And if you rewatch Battle of the Bastards and see the arrows do everything but hit him, see every guy charging him with spears and swords, only to, like, I don't know, hit a gopher hole right before they get to Jon Snow, then, you know, like, I can't do that and then complain, you know, the dragon died too easily. You know
But
what?
the things that happen to Jon Snow happen in a battle. Like battles are absurd. Like you look at those Medal of Honor stories about literally bullets going through the guy's clothes.
Mhm.
If you're going to have a celebrated hero, then and that's what a Medal of Honor winner
Mhm.
is. If you're telling the story of the greatest hero there ever was, then it's I like
There's
that
some
they're
luck
showing
involved.
that I like that they're showing that it wasn't just that this guy was the best swordsman there ever was, because what's so great about that? Like if you're like, yeah, he won every battle. How? Well, he was just better than everybody else. It wasn't even fucking fair. Oh no, he won every battle. How? Well, the gods must have touched him because I saw 15 arrows land around the man. I saw a man coming to cut his head off.
Watch
And
Battle of the
I-
Bastards again, dear viewer. Not, I'm sure Kyle's knows it, but and then watch it
best
through the
battle of the
lens of, yeah, this guy is just surrounded by plot armor. Every time he's about to get beheaded, the horse hits a gopher hole. Every time they fire a volley of 397 arrows, they land around him like that woman at the circus spinning and they throw the knives at. It's magical how he's not hit. And the whole like resurrected because he has a purpose or whatever, that doesn't save people, as witnessed by the guy that had to be resurrected, is it 7 times? Something like that?
Yeah,
maybe.
yes,
Yeah.
7. I don't know.
So
No, who cares?
it's plot armor. So when they kill the dragon, I'm like, you know what? Good. I'm glad the dragons aren't bulletproof. Now we have a show again.
No,
I actually came down- no, I came down
I'm
with
fine
the
with them
dragon
killing
thing.
the dragon.
Well,
It's
I guess I'm
how
not
you
talking
kill
about
the
Game of
dragon within the rules that you've already established.
A lot of
Like I
people
said-
are upset that the ships ambushed the dragon.
Yeah, dude,
The
you
writing's
fly.
not good.
You fly. You know you'd have seen those boats.
I would have
No,
seen
you'd
both.
have been like,
Did you
holy
see
shit,
the
guys.
clip?
Yeah,
Did
hey,
you see the
you
clip
know what?
with the director?
There's
of
an
the show?
armada here this time. I did. Where he said that.
Where he said he's like
She
and
forgot
Daenerys,
about it.
She forgot about the Euron's fleet. And it was like, no,
Yeah.
that was a previous episode where like Varys
Previous
Tyrion or whatever is like, the previous scene where they're like, and we can't forget about these ships over here.
Mhm.
She's like, oh yes, those ships over there. She came around totally,
And they were
you
like,
know,
why would you be flying? You know, the armada's out there. And she's like, oh, that's a good point.
The best part of the episode was when Tyrion kept pressuring Jaime to tell him what Brienne's pussy looked like. I got a kick out of that. The worst part, and this is a continuing theme, is I am tired of pretending that the actress who plays Daenerys isn't a horrible actress. Go back and watch the battle where she's crying over Ser Jorah when he dies, and look at her tears. She has to like awkwardly angle her head down so you can't obviously see. Like, this bitch looks like she just ate a warhead. That's not crying.
You know where I got
What
the
the fuck
opposite
is wrong with
opinion,
you?
Taylor? When she interacts with Sansa. When she interacts with
Sansa's
Sansa,
a way better actress, I think.
I wouldn't disagree. But the way that she does this like mean girl thing, like, you know, I'm the queen, and you know, Sansa's like, yeah, you're the queen, and they're just sort of like, there's a lot of
snide.
unspoken communication and one-upsmanship there that Emilia Clarke does really well for me. Kyle?
I have another thing I hate.
Okay.
Another thing I hated from the episode. Braun walks right into a bar where there are only two people in the bar. One of them is Jaime Lannister, the Kingslayer. The other is Tyrion Lannister, Hand of the Queen. No guards outside. Nobody's even in there to have a beer to look at two of the most famous men in the realm. Like if you knew that there was a bar and Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt were chilling in it, and you're like,
Wait, they weren't at a bar. They were in like a private quarters, like in the Lannister
No!
side, or they were just at a
were
bar.
They were in like a tavern.
Oh, that's
Like-
even
like-
dumber.
I don't even know who's serving them the beer. The bartender was like, oh shit, Braun's here. First of all, Braun makes it into the encampment, even though he was just at last time Braun interacted with Targaryens, he was at war with them with Jaime at that battle. I'll buy that nobody recognized Braun from the battle, even though he was the guy doing a lot of shit. I'll buy that 100%. But I don't know about Tyrion not having a single guard. Okay, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's real loose with it, loosey-goosey, and everybody knows the half man, and nobody would mess with the imp. And the Kingslayer is there, one-handed and all. So maybe that's just okay. Braun shows up with a crossbow. Again, this goes
The most
back to,
effective close combat weapon.
it'd be pretty good. If me and you are in a room with a crossbow, you're a dead man.
If you
But-
miss, I have 3 minutes to stab you.
Thank you. Do you remember I think Braun literally says this. This might be Braun's line. It's someone's line in Game of Thrones, though. It's a good weapon. Takes too long to reload, though. Braun fires a warning shot at Jaime to let him know he means business and goes, like it's a 12-gauge pump, and he's locked and loaded again. Like what the fuck was that?
Even
What
the technology
fuck
that
was
That's
that?
a
Joffrey was
special
raving
crossbow
about.
that
He's like-
they crank it up.
You've got to crank it, though, because it was
And
made
it takes forever. You have to put it face down on the ground, put your foot in the little holster thing, and then
It was made for that
Crank it.
weak ass bitch Joffrey who had no physical like gifts at all. He couldn't cock his own crossbow like a man where you grab it and pull it. He needed a cranky danky like a
All right, I
a
object
pussy
to you
boy.
giving Joffrey a
Pussy
hard
boy.
time. That was the show's peak.
You
no.
know what a
Joffrey's
shit
the
part
best.
was?
Joffrey's your second best villain that you've had in the show. Probably second best acted character.
Second
Joffrey's
best
After
Ramsay.
Ramsey. Okay.
Ramsey frightened me. Joffrey made me a little nervous, but like when those two whores are in there with Joffrey, and he's like, hit her. No, now hit her with this. You're like, oh shit.
harder.
Ramsey would have been like, fuck her. Now fuck her with this. Like, Ramsey's heart. Ramsey rapes
Play
people
with her
dogs.
blood.
Ramsey
Yeah.
rapes people with dogs and has hounds rip you apart if you don't fuck him right. And if you get pregnant while he's raping you, he'll kill you for that. Like Ramsey is evil incarnate. He's the kind of evil that you see like Darth Vader, and you're like, oh, he's
Ramsey's
a bad.
evil, but a lot of it is purposeful evilness. Joffrey was a whole lot of tear the wings off bugs for entertainment.
Yeah, it's both. It's both.
Have you guys noticed the precipitous decline in dialogue the last 3 years, culminating in like to your point earlier, Woody, where you're like, blame George R.R. Martin. Go back and
Michael
watch
Jordan
episode,
somehow.
his episode 4 of season 2 or some shit like that. I don't know. I just picked an episode out of my ass, but the dialogue's a lot better because they have George R.R. Martin's source material to work with. That little like conversation between Daenerys and Jon. She was so ham-handed in it. She should have been wearing a fucking sandwich board that says, I am a bad guy now. Like, it was so over the top. There was no nuance to it. Not that she's ever been a good leader in any capacity, but like the back and forth, the Tyrion and the not Sir Varys, just Varys, their little conversation, not reminiscent at all
I
of the
just
kind of
feel like
conversations they used to have.
J.R. Martin should
Remember
take
Varys
more
and
heat for
Littlefinger?
this because
Remember
he's
that
the one that
back and
quit.
forth?
Right? He quit. Someone else is writing. They might be bad writers, but they're writing the fuck out of G.R.R. Martin right now, who is doing what? Chicks and pina coladas? I don't know, but not
They're
writing.
writing the equivalent of like 4 pages of Martin, though. And Martin's there. Let's not act like Martin died already. He's there as a consultant. He's there to like give them lines. He's there as a writer.
This is
What
my-
if it is a weekend
This is
at
my
Bernie's
Thor.
situation?
Is he though? Is he though?
Yeah.
You know, like I know that he has a credit of some sort, but as far as I don't see his influence.
I think he's there. I think you got to blame. I don't know who to blame, but I think the two creators of the show, the Benioff guy and the other one, like maybe they're
D&D
brothers.
they
I don't
call
fucking
him? I
know.
don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think they're to
Benioff
blame
and
for this.
Weiss or something.
Like you were talking about the writing, Taylor, and how good it used to be. One of my favorite scenes in the entire show isn't a battle or a CGI monster. It's when Littlefinger and Varys are going
the
back
scene.
and forth
Chaos is
in
a
the
ladder.
they're in like the Great Hall in King's Landing, and they're sort of one-upping each other in what they know about the other. He's like, well, when was the last time I saw you? Well, the last time you saw me, or the last time I saw you? Well, you were doing this and that you shouldn't have been doing. Well, the last time I saw you, you were doing this and that you shouldn't have been doing with you know who? A representative from Essos, our enemies. What was that all about? Well, I was talking to him about how you're a boy fucker, actually. He's a boy fucker catcher. And there's like this one
Boy
upsmanship
fucker catcher.
on the boy fucker catcher. Where is he? That was golden writing. It's